So the thing about Justin Trudeau is that he is very controversial. I know in the foreign press he is often held up as this wonderful Canadian guy that no one could possibly find anything wrong with, but here in Canada he is just a very ordinary politician that a lot of people do not like. In any democracy, politicians are always controversial. That's kind of the whole point of having a democracy. I would say, however, that Justin Trudeau is possibly even more controversial than your typical politician for a couple of reasons. One is that he is the son of a former Prime Minister, Pierre Trudeau. This means that he has always sort of been resented for being a child of privilege who probably didn't deserve a lot of the good things that he's gotten in life. And the old man Trudeau was very controversial himself, which means that a lot of that has transferred to the son. And the other thing about Justin Trudeau is that he has very firmly planted himself on one side of like the big social political cleavage of our time. He is very happy to be known as the Prime Minister who is on the side of the social justice people and the feminists and, you know, that whole scene. And since a lot of people really hate that whole scene, a lot of that transfers over to Trudeau as well. So anyway, the point is that when you have a really controversial politician like Justin Trudeau, one thing that inevitably comes out of that is a lot of conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories about politicians tend to happen when a politician is so hated that people start to believe he is capable of just about anything. Here are 4 of the leading Justin Trudeau conspiracy theories. Number 1, he is Fidel Castro's illegitimate love child. So one of the things that was controversial about the old man Trudeau was how much he sucked up to Fidel Castro. He was the first Canadian leader to ever visit Cuba, and they had a big love-in summit together, and then Castro wound up being a pallbearer at his funeral. And then when Fidel Castro died in 2016, Justin Trudeau sent out this really fawning eulogy that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. They said that his kind words really glossed over the reality of what Fidel Castro actually was, which was, of course, one of the great tyrants of the 20th century. And anyway, this somehow evolved into the theory that Justin Trudeau must be the literal bastard spawn of Fidel Castro and the old Canadian First Lady, Margaret Trudeau. If you Google Fidel Castro, Justin Trudeau, you can find a ton of stuff about this. All these side-by-side images speculating about how supposedly alike the two men look. And of course, lots of YouTube videos.
Justin Trudeau said some nice things in regards to Fidel Castro, and that might actually be because he's the son of Castro.
Margaret Trudeau, we all know she was not the most virtuous woman.
Spitting image of Justin Trudeau today.
Now, the main reason why we know this is not true is because it is impossible to make the timeline work. Pierre Trudeau and Margaret Trudeau got married and had Justin Trudeau in a very narrow window of time. It all happened within the course of 10 months in 1971. The Trudeaus did not visit Cuba and meet Castro until 1976, at which point Justin Trudeau had already been alive for quite a while. So in order for Justin Trudeau to be Fidel Castro's love child, what you have to believe is that like right after Pierre Trudeau and Margaret Trudeau got married, Margaret Trudeau flew down to Cuba, hooked up with Castro, and then immediately flew back to Canada in order for Justin Trudeau's birth to have unfolded in the agreed upon timeline. There is no evidence that she left the country during this period. In fact, there is a lot of corroborating evidence to the contrary. And there is even less evidence supporting the idea that she somehow spontaneously fell in love with a dictator 1,600 miles away whom she had never met before. Okay, so conspiracy theory number 2. So one of the big political divides in the Western world these days is about Muslims. Without putting too fine a point on it, parties of the right generally don't like Muslims, or at least are very skeptical of them, while parties of the left like Muslims or are at least very forgiving of them. There is a lot of evidence to suggest that Justin Trudeau does not really have much of a problem with Muslims. He has appointed Muslim cabinet ministers and increased Muslim immigration and done a lot of photo ops at Muslim type places. This has in turn prompted some factions of the super anti-Muslim far right to come up with a conspiracy theory. Justin Trudeau must be a secret Muslim himself. So the theory goes that Justin Trudeau must have secretly converted to Islam at some point in the unspecified past, and this explains why he is so pro-Muslim today. The way people generally prove this is by showing out-of-context clips of Justin Trudeau at various mosques and then saying, aha, we have found evidence of Justin Trudeau engaged in some secret Muslim conversion ceremony.
We have to ask ourselves, what debt is owed to the Islamic community?
While at the Montreal Mosque, Trudeau was photographed participating in a prayer ritual.
Well, has he converted? We don't know.
He made this one visit to a mosque here in British Columbia that is the source of a lot of conspiracy theories because he apparently participated in a prayer there that only Muslims are supposed to do. I guess the good thing about this conspiracy theory is that it offers cover to anyone who wants to believe that it is not racist to think that Obama was a secret Muslim. They can be like, I'm not racist. See, I believe that white world leaders can be secret Muslims too. Okay, so conspiracy theory number 3 is that Justin Trudeau is involved in some sort of worldwide pedophilia ring. It is surprising to me how mainstream this particular flavor of conspiracy theory is becoming in some parts of the right-wing crackpot universe. Like suddenly everything is about secret worldwide children's sex cults. But anyway, the idea that Justin Trudeau is involved in all of this usually boils down to 2 things. Number 1 is that Justin Trudeau had a close friend who was caught up in a big pedophilia sting in 2012. Now this is actually 100% true. The guy's name was Christopher Ingvaldson, and he and Trudeau had been roommates in college, and then they later worked together during this brief period in which Justin Trudeau was a teacher at a private school here in Vancouver. The guy was in fact arrested in a big worldwide pedophilia sting in 2012, and this was very much covered in the mainstream Canadian press at the time, and Justin Trudeau was asked for comment on it. As was the case for all of Chris's friends, it was with shock and bewilderment that I learned of the serious charges laid against him. Now you could say that it reflects quite poorly on Justin Trudeau that he ever had such a person as his friend, but as evidence that Justin Trudeau himself is involved in some sort of larger pedophilia conspiracy, it's a little bit thin. Proof number 2, however, is even thinner. So according to a much shared cable on WikiLeaks, the FBI believes that pedophiles use this spiral triangle thing to signal that they're into boys. And the Trudeau family has this thing called the Trudeau Foundation, which is sort of this big crooked racket, but that's another story. Anyway, in the Trudeau Foundation's 2018 annual general report, there is a big spiral triangle on page 2. Oh no, right? The Trudeau Foundation is signaling that they're down with child sex. Well, to the extent that this is persuasive to anyone, it becomes a lot less persuasive when you notice that every single other page of the report also features a big random geometric shape. That just happened to be the particular artistic style of that report. Plus, the spiral triangle isn't exactly the most obscure symbol in the world. Check out all of these weird spiral triangles you can download on Shutterstock, for instance. Although I guess it's possible that Shutterstock could be in on it too. And lastly, we have the 4th and final and possibly silliest Justin Trudeau conspiracy theory. He wears fake eyebrows. Now, this one got a lot of attention recently. In the aftermath of that big contentious G7 summit in Quebec, Justin Trudeau was filmed talking to a reporter in Ottawa, and his eyebrows look pretty weird, as you can see here.
Consistently demonstrated where we disagree, but done so in a
polite and cordial context. I think that's what Canadians have always expected of me, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
So the conclusion a lot of people drew in the aftermath was that Justin Trudeau's eyebrows were falling off. And this proved that he was some sort of vain, grotesque, death becomes her-esque zombie man whose supposed good looks were just held together with a lot of glue and prosthetics. But the reality is that Justin Trudeau simply has kind of weird looking eyebrows, and no one just really paid any attention to it until now. Like, they're sort of thicker at the bottom than they are at the top, and this becomes quite apparent in unflattering lighting, which was apparently the case at that particular press conference. So anyway, that is 4 Justin Trudeau conspiracy theories for you. Have you heard any others? Let me know in the comments. And by the way, do not take my willingness to debunk these conspiracy theories as any sort of evidence that I like Justin Trudeau or am keen to defend him. I don't. He is awful. But what I do like is the truth.